All right, in this video, I'm gonna break down and explain the planes of the face in terms of painting a portrait. And hopefully by the end of this video, you've learned some things that will really help your portrait paintings. All right, welcome to Paint Coach. If you're new to the channel, my name is Chris Fornatero, and I am here to help simplify oil painting so that you can get better faster. So I've been painting portraits for a long time, and gonna be honest, at the beginning, I never really paid much attention to the planes of the face. I would see things about it in, tutorials or in books and demonstrations. And I always thought, oh, like I can just paint what I see and I don't need to really get into all that. Boy, was I wrong. Because it really wasn't until I understood the planes of the face, or just the planes of any object, honestly, the painting portraits got a lot easier and my portraits got better. Understanding planes helped me with my drawing, getting the right colors, and my brush work. All right, let's start simple. What is a plane? A plane is a flat surface. Imagine a cube with 6 flat sides, or planes. A plane is the change of direction of the surface of an object. So why are these planes helpful in painting? So when you have something that doesn't have these planes, for example, like a sphere, it's easier to paint it if you imagine it comprised of a bunch of planes. For one, it's going to make understanding and seeing shifts of color and value a lot easier, because whenever there is a change in color or value, it's going to help indicate a change in a plane, and vice versa. The change of a plane can help indicate a change in value and color. Now I'm going to show you this example pulled directly from my Foundations of Oil Painting course. I got this picture of this lemon. The lemon has a very spherical shape, and you can see that there's a change in color from this part of the lemon to this part of the lemon. That is because there is a plane shift. That's because this part of the lemon is curving down towards the ground and out of the light. Now, if I simplified this lemon into flat planes, it makes seeing this a lot easier. This is why a lot of painting instructors will first have students paint fruit that's actually carved out of wood. When the plane shifts are obvious, it's easy to see changes in color and value. It's going to be easier to capture the form of the subject. Now, if you want to paint looser or more painterly and you struggle with that, this could be a key to that, because you want to start by identifying the big obvious planes, and then as you paint, you start finding smaller, more subtle planes and plane transitions, and then you can stop whenever you feel you've gone as far as you want to go. All right, so we've gone over what the planes are and used the simple example of a piece of lemon. Now let's take it a step further and go to the human face. Now the face has 3 big planes. You got the front plane and the 2 side planes. Now to help explain this, I took a photo myself using 3 light sources to light the 3 different planes. I got a blue light on one side, a really warm orangish light on the other side, and then I just used a regular temperature light for the front, but in the portrait just comes out as kind of dark. Now, if you want to practice this, you can do this at home. You can just set up your camera phone. You sit next to a window with the window light coming in on one side of your face, and just get a warm temperature bulb or lamp from your home and put it on the other side. That's all you need. You'll have the 2 different temperature light sources on the 2 side planes, and just the ambient light from the room will kind of fill in the front of the face. You'll probably read as darker a shadow, but you'll still have this effect of 3 defined sources of light indicating the 3 different planes. Now, one of the first things I do in a portrait is I indicate these planes. They're very simply done. Their color and value might be exaggerated. I want to get those in first. It's almost like taking notes. Just like I'm going to be changing these colors and values a lot, but I want to take note of that right away, because it's going to help me move on to the next steps of the painting. Now with the face, there are other planes within those 3 major planes. And I'm not saying that you have to memorize all of these to paint a good portrait. The more you know, the better. A lot of painters will sometimes have a model like this up while they're painting, just to refer back to if they kind of get lost or forget, which direction something's going. I actually got this from an app called Head Model. I think it's free, but I just got the premium subscription. It's like $12 for an entire year. And I find it really helpful. You can move the head around. You can throw different multiple light sources on it. You can change the structure of the face. I mean, it'd be helpful just to paint this model, just to kind of get your brain working and thinking and seeing this way. But to take a look at a quick example, if we look at just the nose, we can break that down into 3 simple planes as well. We got the center plane of the nose and the 2 side planes. The center plane is kind of the bridge of the nose, which is catching my front light, and the 2 sides are catching the orange light or the blue light. Understanding the planes of the facial features is actually really helpful. There's just certain ways that, the eyes or the nose or the mouth are constructed that are similar amongst everybody. And I've actually made a whole video demonstration on those, which is on my Patreon page. If you want to check that out, there's a link to my Patreon page in the description below. So as I paint this self-portrait, I'm just going through and identifying planes and shapes. Now the planes are also influencing my brush work. I always want my brush strokes to go in the direction of the plane. I try and think of my paint like it's paper mache and I'm wrapping it around the face. You can see just how I hold the brush and I'm moving my arm around to get the right angle to cover the right plane. Now, the fact that I used 3 lights for this self-portrait, it made it a lot easier to identify the different planes. I had color cues to help indicate the change in planes. So what do you do when your portrait is not lit with 3 lights? A good example of this is this baby portrait that I did for a tutorial. But you can see at the beginning of the portrait, I'm still identifying the major planes of the face, and they are exaggerated and more defined than they really are in the reference, but that's what I need to do in order to build the painting. It's a lot easier to start more rigid, more harsh and defined, and then slowly dial everything in and make it softer. This is why painting baby portraits is so difficult, because the plane shifts are very, very subtle. Babies' faces are very smooth. There's no harsh angles like there can be on adults' faces. So pretty much baby portraits are harder because it's harder to identify the planes. So if you have a photo lit similar to this, try to exaggerate those plane shifts at the beginning. You can always dial them down as you go. Portraits lit like this, always find that the bulk of the time spent is really just fine-tuning all of these subtle shifts in value and color. Hope you liked this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you can take what you've learned and make your paintings better. If you did enjoy it, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to see what I am painting on a daily basis, you can follow me on Instagram at Forza43. I'm Chris Fornatero, here telling you to go get painting.